Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. I don't know why I'm full screen like that. Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. This is rumble.com/JJW. I am JJW, and that's Bert. Bert's invisible right now, but he'll be back in just a minute. We meet every Monday through Friday, 6:30 in the morning. We drink coffee. And we talk about news, politics, culture, pop culture, comic books, werewolves. I don't know. We talk about all kinds. Especially, we talk about dad stuff. We talk about having kids.
I think it's very important that every single time that you do point out that we are a morning talk show that does talk about werewolves.
As much as possible.
There are not that many morning shows or shows in general
as possible
that we'll talk about politics, pop culture, and werewolves. I challenge you to name me another one.
It was a joke initially, and then I just kept saying it, and now it's like programmed in my brain. So when I start this, I'm just like, what do we talk about?
I love it. I think it's grand. I think we are the only show. I would bet we're the only show.
Just so few.
Two dads.
How many have a howling werewolf spot? Because I'll pull that thing out at a arbitrary notice. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. We are here. We got a lot to talk about.
Sorry, go ahead. You're good. Yeah. Just ignore me.
Yeah, looks like Deacon's in a good mood this morning. We are your two dads. Everybody needs a dad or two. Everybody needs a dad or two. And if you need one, we're here for you. We got a bunch to talk about today. We got some political stuff. We got some entertainment stuff. Deacon, I went and watched the movies this week. I went and watched a movie this weekend.
We're going to talk about movie theaters.
I went to the movie theater this weekend.
You went and watched Avatar, didn't you?
No way. Avatar. I don't care about blue cats.
It's people that love Avatar called avatars. Are you an avatar? If you love Avatar?
I mean, they're into furry things, these furry cat people, so they might be called furries.
Have you seen?
I'm not familiar with that.
I don't want to get off the subject, but I watched the new animatronic that Walt Disney World has about Avatar. It's like a $10 million animatronic or some bullshit, and it looks like a real one of those little blue cat things. It's crazy.
Like it looks real?
Yeah, it looks real. And Disney's animatronics looked really good in the 60s, and those look shitty, So, yeah, you got to look up the new little Disney Navi.
I haven't even.
I'll look it up.
I haven't. Yeah, I see a Verge article here about it.
It's crazy looking.
I don't know. Well, maybe you'll find out the one that looks impressive.
I'll find
All right, guys. Before we get started, we're gonna have to start this morning with political stuff.
There's a lot of political stuff, and there was some major stuff that I saw that was kind of.
And we can't get to everything, so I think we're gonna just save Alec Baldwin for tomorrow. So we'll save Alec Baldwin for tomorrow. I don't think we're gonna get to everything.
I don't know. Alec Baldwin's one of those guys you just you don't want to push to the back of the line. You kind of want to come on up here, Mr. Baldwin. We don't want to make you wait for anything. We're afraid of what you might do.
It's not like he might kill you.
If you push to the back of the line. Hey, Alec, we're just kidding. Come on up.
There's a theory floating around about Mr. Baldwin originating from a local TV station manager. So we're gonna get to that maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll get to today. Probably not though. Today is Monday, March 6th, 2023, and today's episode is the Pity Popper. Scary Poppins begs to sue Fox News. You remember? Do you remember Nina Jankowicz, Deacon?
Yeah, unfortunately,
Nina Jankowicz in her Mary Poppins based disinformation song. She was the disinformation czar for the Biden administration for like 4 days or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then the entire country revolted and we're like, you can't have a ministry of truth. This is not an actual science fiction book, Joe Biden. You can't do that. So the Department of I think it was under the DHS that this disinformation bureau was eventually scuttled, and poor Miss Jankowicz lost her cushy job in the American government as a disinformation czar. And if you remember in November, Do you remember what she, her career path moved on from being disinformation czar? Do you remember where she got a job?
I lost contact with I keep a running notebook or a notepad on my wall, like a bulletin board
Of what's going on with
what's
Nina?
going on with her, and I
Yeah.
lost track. I just got busy, so
Oh,
that's my
that's
bad.
okay. Like, you can't
Sorry.
remember everything.
I
We got a lot
can't
of
do
stuff to
everything.
keep in our brains every
So
day.
what did happen? What happened
Yeah.
with her?
Well,
Stopped watching
immediately
after
after.
episode 4.
I'm not even going to start the Nita Jankowicz until they get season 3, because
Yeah,
Deacon
yeah.
won't even Deacon will
I'm not even
refuse
gonna
to watch
watch it
them.
unless they have 3 seasons.
So back in November, right around Thanksgiving, actually, we did an episode about Scary Poppins, and the Disinformation Bureau had been dissolved, so she took a job and registered as a foreign agent. She took a job with let's see what it was. It was some outfit based in the UK called the Center for Information Resilience, where she hangs out in the United States, registered as a foreign agent for some UK company, and lobbies and petitions lawmakers regarding disinformation stuff. Now, bear in mind, she's been totally fucking wrong about everything, especially the Hunter Biden laptop. So, but facts be damned, she's got a story she's trying to sell, because I'm pretty sure she wants to, put a hit #1 musical out there so that she can play Mary Poppins singing disinformation songs. Anyway, so that was the news back in November. Well, now, Deacon, I know this is very important to you.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
I know you are. The ex-Biden administration disinformation czar is now crowdfunding a lawsuit to hold Fox accountable. Nina
Fox has
Jankowicz
got
is.
all kinds of people suing them these days, don't they?
I mean, I guess they want that Rupert Murdoch money.
Man,
she's out there hand out, being like, "Hey, give me some cash because I want to sue Fox News for spreading malicious, reckless lies about her." I'm not sure what is the malicious, reckless lies, because everything I just told you is factual. According to the Biden administration, the board was created to combat false narratives around domestic terrorism and human trafficking along the border, but it was viewed by many to have a much broader brief to monitor and possibly curtail disfavored political speech. According to Jankowicz, Fox News is at least partially responsible for this perception and cut short her lifelong dream of serving the public. Oh my goodness. After my position was announced, baseless claims that the board was an Orwellian ministry of truth and that I was President Biden's chief censor spread, explained Jankowicz in a 5-minute video appeal for funds replete with dramatic music. She put in dramatic music. She's like a theater major or something like that. That may not be true, but I feel like she might be a theater major. Fox News launched overly personalized, false, and incendiary coverage of me, mainstreaming online conspiracy theories to tens of millions of Americans. It wasn't just Fox News, and Fox News didn't change it. I never even watched Fox News, Jankowicz. I read articles about you. Jankowicz has been working as a disinformation fellow for the Wilson Center until she began at the DHS in March 2022. The department will. I think this whole thing got folded up, and they tried to roll it out as a different thing elsewise. Biden still wants to be able to tell you what's true and what's not true. What's especially true is that you guys should be hitting the like button on this video.
Now, I kind of was trying to keep up with this. I read the article and whatnot, but this is one of those that I was just like, I'm going to let JJ deal with this.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm trying to stop that.
Look, anytime that I could put Jankowicz's face on our show, I just feel like, how would this not be appealing? How would people not want to see this and be like, yeah, I want to see this show? She doesn't look crazy. Okay.
Right. Sorry. I'm busy doing something.
Guys, before the show started, I was listening to Deacon take a phone call, and he answered that phone and talked to Kenny. I think it was Kenny. Like it was his best friend. Deacon is such a pro. He's so good at this.
I know. JJ was like, "You're such a pro." I was like, "What I do?" He was like, "You talk to that guy." I was like, "Man, you got to
that guy.
He was my listener, man. I got to talk to him.
That's right.
You've got to.
Okay.
As a radio person, you've got to make your listeners feel like they're very, very special because they are. They're keeping me in a job, and this guy just song. So I'm trying to get this song, but it's a song that I have to play over the freaking channel that you're on right now.
Uh-oh.
So if I play it, you're all going to hear it, and we're going to get copyright stricken. So I've had a minute and a half to save this. I've got 15 seconds. It's saving right now so that I can try to scramble it on.
All right, let's we're gonna have to talk about the weekend in a minute, but you're busy stuff. So I'm gonna cover another story here, guys. I know that probably many of you, like me, just dream of the day that you may be able to go out west to the coasts of California and stare out at the ocean and maybe just live in that magical wonderland that is the democratic state of California. Well, there's a lot of reason for people to start heading that way.
That made me forget my whole joke. I had a whole Mary Poppins joke set up for the end of that story, and my shit just didn't time out right. I was going to say Chim Chim Cheree and everything, man. So,
gosh. If I should have clipped her little song, because maybe next time a Jankowitz story comes up, I'll have her little.
That's where. Did you get my name? Did you catch it? I was like, oh, we're Mary Poppins. I love Bert. I'm Bert. Bert.
It's Bert the. The chimney sweep. The chimney sweep.
Yeah, that's Bert.
Okay, go ahead. That sequel. I didn't watch the sequel.
I don't think I watched it. No, it's been years since I saw Mary Poppins.
Deacon, do you have? I don't know my genetic heritage. Like I've never done a 23andMe. I've never done a gene test or whatever to find out exactly what my heritage is. Like a lot of poor people, I don't know who my family are.
I haven't either, but I have done extensive genealogy with a cousin of mine who is very much into it as well. And I've tracked both sides of my family for a little bit, but he's extensively tracked my last name side. I've tracked my maternal side of my family. And yeah, so I know a little bit about where we come from. I know a little bit. I know that I have Cherokee very close on both sides of the family, full-blooded Cherokee, very close on both sides of the family.
Right.
And that kind of answered some questions about my summertime complexion and stuff like that.
But there's a little bit of uncertainty, right? In terms of going back.
Absolutely. Because there's uncertainty. There's always uncertainty.
I have some. I know a little bit about like my great grandfather, Wilhelm Wagner, that moved over here in the early 1900s. But before that, I don't know.
Wilhelm.
Oh, yeah. He's German. Cool. He was German. He got here before the Nazi stuff. So German, but not Nazi German. Pre-Nazi German.
Germans are a wonderful culture that had a wonderful culture for many, many years. And that one little thing, we shouldn't judge them on that one little thing, I'm saying that one little thing maybe wasn't such a little thing, but German people are not all like that. Me and you get on this channel and tell people, hey, if you're from another country, what you see about Americans, that's not me. That's not us. That's not most of the country. So so we have a German viewer that views us consistently.
Oh yeah. Oh, is that Dugan?
Yes.
Yeah, Dugan. Yes. Okay. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. If you don't know your entire kind of genetic history, and there's really no reason that you could know, there's going to be some uncertainty. Right. And that means that this story could be like the how do you say Schrodinger's cat? Schrodinger's cat. Yeah. So it could be true. It could not be true. You don't know until you rule it in. Here we go. Are you ready for this, Deacon? This is going to be so exciting.
This is cool.
California reparations are now up to $360,000 per person. The state had never had slavery, but right now mostly due to the fact that San Francisco is trying to float $5 million per person per slave in per former slave descendant in reparations. You might be able to get $360,000 for being, descendant of a slave, and you don't know if you are or not.
Wait a minute. I've got a question, Mr. W. I've got a question.
Yes.
Me. Define slavery.
I don't know.
So in California,
yes, there are still slaves all around the world. In fact, there's more slaves than there's ever been. That's true.
In American history are we considering slaves, especially in California? Because I've read ahead. I'm sorry, but I read ahead in my history book, and I know about the gold rush, and I know what we did to the Asian people that we called Orientals back then. So I'm just kind of wondering, what is the definition of slavery? Because shouldn't those Asian people? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get out of the habit of saying the word Oriental. I never thought that word was a racist.
You didn't know. You've learned something since we started the show. You learned,
and I said it, and we talked about it, and then I went and I looked it up even more because I was still kind of, I put up my wall. I was like, that's not an offensive word. And then I started reading a little bit more, and I'm like, maybe that is a little offensive word, and maybe I need to stop using that word. So if I accidentally say that word, I'm trying to not. But shouldn't the Asian people get some of those reparations as well? Because the Asian people were slaves in the gold rush.
I mean, they were laying down railroad tracks, bro.
You need to read about what happened during the gold rush, and it will blow your mind on all the atrocities that happened. Let me say that word again. Let me underline that word. Atrocities that happened during the gold rush.
Committed by the Californians. The Californians.
Well, they weren't all. They were from everywhere.
I mean,
they were from everywhere, but they were in
but caused by So California, which entered the Union in 1850 as a free state, is now considering reparations of up to $360,000 per eligible recipient, more than 50% more than the amount floated as the highest possibility last year. In December, as Breitbart News reported, a state committee considering reparations heard recommendations that eligible recipients, those descended from former black slaves, could qualify up to $233,000. But now that amount has ballooned up to $360,000. You know what? I'm saying, guys, if you really, want to correct justice, let's go up $500,000. Let's do it $500,000 per person. There's no reason to stop at 360.
I think that's a weird number anyway. Why not?
Yeah, it's a strange number.
Yeah.
I'm saying California, don't be cheapskates. Do $500,000 per eligible recipient.
If you really think that they deserve it, give them $500K a piece.
Yeah, nut up, California. Don't be sissies.
Get some of them people to make a movie. Yeah, what the hell?
It's really not clear where the money will come from because the state has a budget deficit.
Oh, that's weird, JJ. Did you read that again? Because that floored me. That statement just floored me. They're really not sure where the money's going to come from. Well,
okay, here we go.
I'm intrigued now.
It's not clear how much. I don't even know if they know how many people they'd be giving this money to. It's not clear where the money will come from, as the state has a budget deficit of roughly $25 billion this year, and many cities are also short of money. It's also unclear why California would pay for sins that it did not commit. Why? Why are you guys picking up the tab? Why? If California can admit its sins and change the narrative, then there is a way forward for states and cities across the nation, said California Secretary of State Shirley Weber, who wrote a bill creating a task force when she served in the state assembly.
Bitch, let me say this one more time. My white cracker ass has never oppressed anybody. I didn't own a slave. My grandparents didn't own slaves. And I'm from Kentucky.
Right.
God damn. This was 150 or 60 fucking years ago now.
Yeah.
Jim Crow, that Jim Crow shit, those people are dying because they're in their late 80s.
Yeah.
Well, nobody need no goddamn reparations. And the only people that need reparations are these old ass black people that are living in squalor. We need to take care of them because they're the ones that actually do need our support because they are the only ones that probably racially.
Scott Adams, before Scott Adams was canceled by every newspaper that exists, he had floated an idea that reparations shouldn't be in the form of money, but rather should be in the form of reforming the education system. Because the number one thing that keeps poor black people poor is the fact that they don't have good schools available to them. You got poor neighborhoods. Poor neighborhoods cannot attract and keep good teachers. And then on top of that, the teachers unions squeeze all of they can out of these communities. And so the education system is not dominated by people that want to provide great education. It's dominated by people that are trying to get a dollar, and they're not good enough teachers to work in places where there's money. So,
I saw a video the other day of this old white woman, and this black kid was, he was a kid, but he just happened to be black, and he was sitting there arguing with her and whatnot. And so these are just kids in general. I didn't mean to,
right. It's just a kid, but it happened to be.
He just happened to be black. He was sitting there arguing with her and whatnot, and she was like, I'm done. They were recording it from the side, and she was picking up all of her stuff on the desk, and all the other kids were like, where are you going? She was like, I am done. I don't get paid enough to mess with you kids anymore. I'm done. I'm never coming back. And she walked out, and all the damn comments were like, I don't blame you. And then all the other comments from people in other countries, it really makes me ashamed to be an American. I mean, anybody that stands up and says that America is the greatest country on earth is a fucking delusional. All right. We have got a horse clown show of a fucking country. All right. And everybody makes fun of us. The whole world makes fun of us. We can't even teach our kids because they're so fucking much of a heathens, and we're too fucking scared to whoop and smack their fucking ass. That's what the kids need. Some little motherfucker stands up to. That's why I'm not a teacher. Did you know I went to school to be a history teacher? I'm not a history teacher. I'm a DJ because my mouth. Every one of y'all know my mouth. How long would I have lasted as a teacher?
You'd be the most disciplined history teacher in history.
Yeah, and I would have been like, don't read the book. Let me tell you the real. I wouldn't have lasted very long as a teacher. But these teachers putting up with this bullshit in high school, these high schoolers today, that's what these kids need, an ass whipping. And I'm sorry if you're one of these, they don't need it. That's bullshit. You never had your ass whooped. I've had my ass whooped before by my parents. I never was beat. I was never beat, but I had my ass beat. And I deserved every damn one of them. And let me tell you something.
Did you get straightened out?
I deserved a lot more than I should have got a lot more than I really did. And
I'll sign on to that too. Same thing.
I'm at work all the damn time. I provide for my family. I've never been, in jail. What the hell do you think?
Yeah. I'm gonna part with you for a part of your comment there. I mean, I agree with you. I never got punished near as much as I deserved. By that, I mean I got punished plenty, but I always did worse than what I got. So and I'm grateful for being steered in the right way. But I'm going to depart for you. You say America is not the greatest country in the world. I'm going to tell you, I've been to some other countries. They are worse. That is not a flag to be like, we're Americans, we're the best. You shouldn't take any personal pride in because you didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. We had people try to set up a system that could improve itself over time. And that's good. It's not a thing to which we can take personal achievement and pride in. And that's where Americans usually go wrong. They go overseas, or they go in and interact with people and they're like, we're American, ha ha ha, and they strut their cockadoodle-doo shit. And Americans need to be humble, but we have the best. We do have the best. I think we do have the best country in the world because we have one of the only countries in the world that can improve itself without causing calamity. We have a system to improve.
that system has been bastardized so much that it's almost impossible to do that. And I'm not when I
England
say
still
that
has a fucking king.
I
so,
know. I mean,
so I
he's not
mean,
I mean, we've got a fucking puppet president. I mean,
yes,
he dances around
yes,
Ukraine. He's the I don't
yeah.
even know if he's the president of the
Now,
United States or the president of Ukraine at this fucking point because they give more
right.
money to the
I
goddamn
mean,
Ukrainians just to
we
help
do
our
got some
fucking people.
problems. We do have some problems.
So,
We
I
have
mean,
some
when I
problems
say that
in terms of
America's
who's
not
running the
the
shit.
greatest country in the world, I don't mean that it's the worst country in the world. I just mean that there's other programs out there and other things that have worked and are working, in my opinion, better than they work in America. All right. And I'm not saying they 100% work. I'm saying maybe this is about 70% working better than ours. It's got 30% problems that we would
Right,
need to tweak for our country. But you know what I'm saying? It's
right, right.
this country. I was sold as a kid in the 80s that this country is the greatest country on earth. If I work hard and keep my nose to the grindstone, that I can have everything that I want and I can be president one day if I wanted to. And that was a lie that was told to me, JJ, because I have
Mm,
had two jobs, almost two jobs since the time I was 16 years old. And
right.
I barely get by. You can ask anyone that knows me here personally and ask them, and they think that I work at the I had a guy the other day say, You're at that radio station all the time, ain't you? Like I'm the only one there. I put in over 50 plus hours a week at this radio station. So America, that was a lie that was told. You know, I
You
just
know, maybe. I mean, I see what you're saying, but like, we
and I maybe need to take some responsibility on myself for the decisions that I made, and I will
right.
do
I
that.
mean,
And I'll
like
put that
that
factor
it's
in
not
there.
like you can do anything and still have every possible chance. You make choices in kids. If you somebody's out there
Right.
listening,
I
you make choice. You stop going to school. You have a kid before you can afford it. You get you all of this
exactly.
stuff. You make
I did
choices
not
that
take a
set you
I did
back.
not take a job in Nashville that would have definitely been a stepping
Right.
stone to other bigger Nashville's like I don't it's a huge market. And I didn't take a job in Nashville because of my kids and stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah, I mean that's yeah.
Well,
That's true,
um,
Jordan. You have to change for things to change. That's
yeah.
true, but that's not what I understand what you mean. That's not what I'm getting at.
I'm wondering where in the world is better than America because I'm like Canada. Nope, we've seen Canada be more authoritarian than the United States. Australia more
I'm not
authoritarian than the
saying
United
that
States. Yeah, right.
you know what I'm saying? I'm not
Yeah,
trying to find another place that's better than America. I'm just saying
right.
that,
Oh, we
Australia
got room to
probably
grow.
has a better freaking whatever program than we do that we're getting raped at over here. And Norway might have a better whatever program that we do over here that we're getting
Yeah, okay.
fucking fucked over here. You know what I'm saying? There's this country that's what I'm getting at. You
Well,
brought
we
up
got we got we have room to improve. There's a
yeah,
lot of things that America can do to improve. Bring back
absolutely.
manufacturing. Maybe stay the fuck out of other countries and stop trying to run them because we're so good and we know all the good things. We know what everything is good.
You know,
The whole interventionism.
you brought up if my Discord is your Discord working?
Yeah, I think
I was
so.
gonna bring up
Yeah,
that you brought up the King Charles a minute ago, and I was gonna
yeah,
bring up that
yeah.
story real
Let's see.
quick. That was just
That's
kind
on
of
the Insider. Do
a
I have that
blurb
one up?
story. I just can't get
Let's
my
see.
Discord to load. It's spinning and spinning.
Yeah, I mean, did that to me a couple days ago. Let me get let me get King Chuck up. King Chuck up. Charlie, come on, Charlie, get up here. The Deacon, did you know that the holy anointing oil for King Charles III's coronation will not contain the intestinal wax of sperm whales or civet secretions?
Civet.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. I think there needs to be sperm whale intestinal wax rubbed just all over his forehead. I don't know why they're not doing it. For those of you who are just fascinated with King Charles, the holy anointing oil used for Chuck's coronation will be animal cruelty free. The sacred chrism oil has previously contained oil from the glands of small mammals such as civets and this is not even a real word, ambergris a waxy substance from the intestines of sperm whales. Who in history thought, you know what we need? You know what we need? Not only do we need a king, not only do we need a crown, not only do we need a castle and moats and and catapults and stuff, we need to make sure that we get it up inside some of the mammals and scrape out some wax and use that as
Gross.
anointing oil.
No. I watched a thing on Friday about this is really weird. I watched a thing Friday about the sperm whale and how this is so fascinating to me, and how they're it's not called echolocation with them, it's called something else, but their clicks that they do, they think sperm whales have a more complicated communication system than humans. And the cells, the type of cells and whatnot that we have in our brain that affect emotion, and that they kind of differentiate us between monkeys, you know, us and great apes and dolphins and whatnot, and sperm whales, they all have these, and they have 6 times more. So they were talking about how SETI scientists, SETI is the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, that SETI scientists are actually looking at sperm whales and how they communicate with each other, because it's so complex that they think their communication is as complex as ours. It's crazy. They said that sperm whales will not interact with humans in submarines if they have scuba gear on, remote control, robotic devices. They will only interact with humans if you're free diving. And when you're free diving, it's basically, it's like we're pets. What would you do if a little baby kitten walked up to you and started just kind of walking around you? You'd reach down and you'd love it and you'd talk to it. And what are you doing? You're so cute. That's what they do to us when they see us in the water. They're like, ooh, look,
I gotta say,
little thing.
there is
It
no
was
way I would ever get
amazing.
in the water with a fucking whale.
No way. No way.
Would,
But it was amazing to sit there. I went down a rabbit hole on sperm whales the other day. I don't know where it was like I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. SETI is doing what? That's cool. I want to know more about that.
That's crazy. That's interesting.
And do you know what the civets cat is? That other thing?
No.
The civets cat is the one that it eats the cacao bean, and the bean doesn't process. It doesn't break down in their intestines.
I thought that was goats.
No, it's this goat or something. Civets cat, and the bean doesn't process, so they poop it out, and the people in that country will gather the civets cat poop and clean it and get all those beans and make coffee, and that coffee is supposed to be the best coffee in the world. By the I always said I would try it one time. I'll try anything one time.
It's the same ancestors that enslaved all of those people in California that did this stuff of scooping out wax out of animals' intestines and cleaning their poop to drink it as coffee. That we owe everything to our forefathers and the strange choices.
The first guy that was like, this bean that's in this cat poop
smells good.
I'm going to make coffee out of it.
There's no way this could go bad. That animal pooped it out.
There's some of these things that I'm wondering, like escargot. You know, if in order to be rich means you have to eat like rich people do, I don't want to be rich, because who was the first son of a bitch that was like,
I don't know.
There's some guy in history that went, hey, JJ,
it doesn't even.
I just convinced this rich guy to eat fucking snails.
Yeah. It's pretty gross. There's a lot of gross things that we've done. All right. Let's see. Do you want to talk entertainment, or I'm not ready to talk about Fauci. I read a story on Zero Hedge. Maybe we'll do Fauci tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fauci's in trouble again, folks. And so he's getting. Yeah. People are pissed at him. Do you not like Fauci, or are you a Fauci fan?
I don't currently have a Fauci bobblehead or a Fauci prayer candle. I don't have one.
Okay.
So I know some people do. Fauci has a prayer candle of his own self
that he bought. With his vaccine.
You know, Fauci has a painting of Fauci hanging in his room where he's done conference calls, and the
Why not?
camera was
He's God.
was tilted accidentally so that people could see it, and then the next time it was like tilted a little bit so that they couldn't see it anymore, but he still got it.
He's God.
Got a painting
Whatever
of
he
himself.
says is if he tells me to get, if he tells me to jump, I say, yes, how high, Mr. Fauci, sir?
Okay, tell me about this elementary school story, and then we'll do entertainment news.
Hang on. I finally got my crap to load, and I forgot what I was doing.
Discord.
I finally got Discord to load. Which elementary?
Fauci in trouble again. Fauci has gotten away with everything for 3 years, for 30 years. For 30 years.
Yeah.
Fauci's raking in money and going on TV. And
okay, so
getting people to buy his bullshit. We'll talk about Fauci.
Parents out there, pay attention. Elementary schools' private emails show secret plans to defy the parents' wishes on transitioning their child. Of course, take a guess where that's at, and it's not California. You can't guess California.
Oh, can't guess California. Yeah. I'm not looking. Oregon.
No, but you're in the right neighborhood.
Washington.
No.
Really? No.
Colorado. You're kind of in the neighborhood with Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Colorado elementary schools' private emails show secret plans to defy parents' wishes. Emails posted on Twitter by a senior fellow with the Independent Women's show an assistant principal in the Purdue School District inquired how to address a student whose parents instructed school staff to not use the student's preferred gender pronouns.
Right.
Emails reveal Purdue schools started secretly transitioning K through 5 students, kindergarten through 5th grade. That is 5 years old through 10 years old or 11 years old. That is for you folks in other countries that don't understand our K through 5 is kindergarten through 5th. Kindergarten is about 5 years old, and 5th and 6th grade students are about 10 to 11 years old. Okay. Last year, they started secretly transitioning 5-year-olds through 10 and 11-year-old students last year by using students' preferred names and pronouns at school, but legal names with parents. See that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
according to the tweets,
dear public school, this is just my opinion. Dear public school teachers, I know you feel like this moral responsibility to, like tell these children whatever it is that they think is true, and but they're fucking kids, and they're not your fucking kids.
Your fucking kids. All right. And if you like your fucking job, then you need to fucking follow what we fucking say, or I'm going to teach the rest of my fucking kids at home. All right. Because my homeschooled kid is already way above the fucking grade that she's supposed to be in. Okay. So I'll just start teaching them at home, and then you'll have to go serve me a fucking chicken McNugget sandwich. I don't know what a chicken
McNugget
sandwich is. My God, you're going to serve.
I know that people have some very visceral opinions about this stuff. These people, all of these people that are supporting this crazy stuff, children are supposed to go through puberty. Children don't know shit. They don't know jack shit. They think they're
children
robots.
question themselves and question everything about themselves. Yes, just like every human alive has. Every single breathing human that has ever breathed on this earth has thought the exact same fucking bullshit that you people are thinking.
What am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? I don't know. All of this ambiguity, this confusion, this whatever, the cure is puberty. Puberty blocking, you're making it worse. You're going to cause people to literally, I mean, you know what the suicide rate is for transgender, trans.
Probably outrageous.
It's absurd. It's absurd. It's crazy. So, I mean, these people are literally causing fucking harm to children.
I wonder if I can find that pretty easily, or if Google will.
You can find it. You can find it. We'll talk about it at a time.
2022. There's the 2022. 82% of transgender individuals have considered killing themselves, and 40% attempted suicide, with a suicidality highest among transgender youth. If
Yep.
if you if you still data indicates this is coming from the National Library of Medicine, the NIH, the National Center of Biotechnology Information.
Oh, I'm
Data
sorry.
indicates that
Sorry.
82% of transgender individuals have considered killing themselves and 40% have attempted suicide. If that doesn't scream that these that are transgender, these people need our help with their mental.
Yeah. Yeah, no, look, they're kids. They haven't gone through puberty. They're all and you start to approach that, you get all kinds of like confusion. You just don't really know what's what. And then your teachers encourage you and give you all this positive affirmation. Oh, you must be gay, you must be bi, you must be trans, you must be a Zimzer, whatever. You know, they get that positive attention and they're gonna like lean into it because they're getting like affirmation and everything else they're confused about in their life. Well, then, you know, you get through puberty and now you're logged, you look back and you're like, that isn't me. That's not what I don't feel right. I feel bad about myself. And like, and these kids think that they're like damaged goods and they think that they're broken and they think that they've made irreparable decisions in their lives. And then they take too many of them take the most final wrong answer because they just don't see anything else. They don't see hope, but this isn't it. Telling a 10-year-old kid that, yeah, you can be a non-gender cat person,
And you
you
know,
know, the fuck.
we're two dads, and we love you, and we want your help. But sometimes, I'm not going to coddle your ass, all right? Because that's not what a parent does. A parent
Right.
gives you love, but a parent also has to make some of the hardest choices in their life. And some of the hard choices that parents have to make is doing stuff and letting our children get hurt, knowing that they're going to get hurt, or letting our love, in order to learn, you know,
Right.
and we have to do stuff. And so that when I get mad and say, it's not that I'm hating against a transgender person. I love them, and I want them to, I want them to feel like that they're loved and mean something and what.
Right.
But what we're trying to say to you is
You,
you're making some really fucked up choices. And if my goddamn son was going to, shave his ass and do this and get a tattoo on his face, if my son come in and said we get a tattoo on his face about something, I would say do be the exact same fucking way.
right.
Absolutely not.
Are you trying to ruin every opportunity? You trying to close half of the opportunities in your
Jesus
entire
Christ.
life
My
to
God.
what? Be
I mean,
defiant and be like, oh,
it's
you're really out there. Come on.
all right. I've got to change the topic.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
We're
going
gonna
to
all right. Here we're gonna talk
transition
about
into the
news.
entertainment, but I've
Yeah.
got one story that transitions very well from
Okay, go
entertainment
ahead.
to kind of
What you got?
political stuff. Do you remember last week we talked about Woody Harrelson on Saturday Night Live?
Oh
And he
yes.
kind of got in trouble. He kind of, the next day, of course, you knew all the bullshit
Right.
media was going to lambast him. So Andy Dufresne has come out and supported Woody Harrelson and says that these COVID-19 protocols, it's time to end this charade with Andy Dufresne. I can't do a Morgan Freeman. I can't do impersonations. I can do voices, but I can't do impersonations.
Man, I wish I could do a Morgan Freeman voice. That would be
Andy
so great.
Dufresne. I,
I would just
I,
lay in bed and talk to myself at night.
I can do a Morgan Freeman kind of. Uh, I don't try to do the impersonation. I try to get their cadence and their inflection on how they speak when they speak. And when Morgan Freeman talked during Shawshank Redemption, he would kind of talk like this. But anyway,
Man, it's good stuff.
Tim Robbins has basically he blasted the COVID-19 protocols, calling them a charade. It's time to end them. And I thought this was something that was I thought this was kind of big news when Tim Robbins came out and said we need to end this stuff. I stand
I
behind Woody
mean,
Harrelson. I'm like, I was like, is this the same Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon? Are these the same people that we're talking about here? Because I really thought that Tim Robbins was so far on the fucking left that even
he's over there.
8 wouldn't fucking correct his shit. You know?
Yeah.
That's an old joke for all you fucking 90s babies out there. So
Tim Robbins is quite left, you know, and you know Woody Harrelson's no conservative either.
Oh,
you know?
no,
but these guys represent
Woody's more of a
pot
smoking. So.
These guys are your old mainstream, you know, left liberals, but like the left has like gone so far left that these guys are now like siding with anti-establishment.
Isn't it hilarious that the left has gone so far past Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon that now we're agreeing on stuff. I'm agreeing on things with Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon. What the fuck? I'm in clown world. I never thought I would say I agree with Susan Sarandon.
Yeah. I mean, these guys, what a shocking reality for these guys, for them to be like, well, I think this is wrong. And they look around and there's nothing but like MAGA hats left around them. And they're like, whoa, what happened? What happened? Why am I surrounded by American First people? Oh, poor Tim. Poor Tim. In addition to winning over Robbins' support, Harrelson's anti-vax COVID statements resonated with celebrity radio host Charlemagne the God. I'm not too familiar with Charlemagne the God, but after seeing the SNL monologue, Charlemagne claimed during a podcast appearance, "I think folks know the jig is up, you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter what side you're on. I think anybody with some common sense, some eyes can look and see and be like, yeah, all right, that was some bullshit." And it was. And I'm not necessarily going to say like, we told you so for the entire time that it was going on, but you know, we told you so. We told you it was all lies the whole time. It was all a power grab. It was always about power. All right, let's talk. We got like 10 minutes left. Let's talk about the weekend movies. It's Monday. Let's talk about movies. I went to the movies and I saw a great movie, and I'm going to tell you guys about it in just a minute. But first, we're going to talk about what movies made money.
Yeah.
Now, I know you guys are probably thinking, oh, Marvel's back with their MCU, and that's latest MCU installment. I'm sure they made the most money, right? Because it's Marvel, and Marvel wins everything. Let's see. Here we have the Ant-Man and the Wasp, and currently it looks like Ant-Man and the Wasp is underperforming slightly, so not doing too good. The Ant-Man and the Wasp had this opening weekend, and they made like I don't know, probably close to $100 million, $106 million their opening weekend, and then the following weekend they had an 82% drop on Friday night, a 60% drop on Saturday night, a 65% drop on Sunday night, and it keeps going down, 60% fewer than even the following week. So this movie is falling off a cliff. Ant-Man and the Wasp is not gaining traction.
I don't think it's falling off a cliff, though. I think it's doing exactly what a movie of its caliber was supposed to do. I think just because we say it's a Marvel movie, that we automatically think that it's supposed to bring in hundreds of billions of dollars. You know, and that is never, ever going to happen again with a Marvel movie. I'm sorry. We were starved for something different at the time, and that was different at the time. It done its thing, and now we've been oversaturated with it so much that it's never going to happen again.
It is making more money than the prior two installments of Ant-Man.
I think it's doing fine for a movie like it's supposed to do.
But the week to week drop off is steeper. That is, the week to week drop off from Ant-Man and the Wasp was not as steep. You know, it made like 60 million the first weekend. It kept going up, and by day 10 it had 120 million. Ant-Man and that was the first Ant-Man. Ant-Man and the Wasp was up to 130 million. But you see how the slope of this is a little smoother. The Ant-Man and the Quantumania is dropping off fast and it's plateauing fast. And if it continues to plateau like this, it might not even eclipse the take home from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay, hang on.
It's the week-to-week drop-off. They continue to like lose 60%.
Ant-Man and the Wasp came out in 2018.
Yes.
That movie came out in 2018. This is something else that we need to go back up to the chart.
Yeah.
This is something else that we need to put into effect. You're sitting there saying, look how rough that one is and look how smooth that one is. That blue one, you need to keep in mind, was 5 years ago, before the pandemic, before the inflation had gone fucking crazy. So that is why it is that way. Considering that we've been through a pandemic and been through it for a couple of years, to where it's not like we're right out of the pandemic where people's going to be flocking to the fucking movie theater, you know, and we're in a period of time where nobody has money to buy anything anymore. It's amazing that this movie is still up there with these. It's amazing that people are still going out to the theater as much as they are.
But here's the thing. Quantumania is in more theaters than Ant-Man and the Wasp was.
So there's your
balance. It has half the engagements. It's in more theaters and has half the engagements. And you know, if you go in,
there's where you get into what theaters did you keep them out from? Did you keep them out from 300 theaters in Podunk fucking Wisconsin and Podunk Kentucky and Podunk Alaska, and you opened it up in 10 more theaters in fucking Los Angeles? That makes a difference. 10 theaters in Los Angeles do more money in a weekend than 100 theaters in Kentucky. It just does. You know, so that's
true.
That's something else.
I mean, okay, and they spent more money on this movie. And I told you, I think last week, there's the 2.5 factor. So you have a production budget of $200 million. This movie's got to make $500 million just to break even after you consider marketing and stuff. If it trends, generously.
Paul Rudd is such a great actor. You've got to pay him exorbitant amounts of money. Paul Rudd is probably the best actor that has ever acted.
Should have had a scene in this movie where they roll him off a cliff in a wheelchair.
I'm being serious. I love Paul Rudd.
He's fun.
Rudd. He's a great.
Okay,
he's got a great last name.
So, but it's not all Ant-Man and the Wasp. In fact, Ant-Man and the Wasp did not do the best this weekend. There's a movie that came out this weekend that you may not know came out this weekend, and it made a buku bucks. And that movie is Creed 3.
Oh,
no. Cocaine Bear is number 3. Cocaine Bear almost beat Ant-Man and the Wasp in receipts last weekend. Almost beat Ant-Man and the Wasp. Cocaine Bear almost beat Ant-Man and the Wasp. United Artists Creed 3 took in $58.6 million in 4,000 theaters. Ant-Man and the Wasp took home 1/4 of that. They took home 12.4. And Cocaine Bear took home 11 million. Now, the movie that I went and watched this weekend was Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. This is Jason Statham movie. This movie is great. It turns out it's a Guy Ritchie flick. I didn't even realize that until the very end. It took home 3 million. So, Creed, did you even see a trailer for Creed 3?
No, I didn't even know there was a Creed 3 out.
Had no idea. I had no idea. We got to the theater and it was like a poster and I was like, oh, when's that coming out? And I looked at the date and I was like, oh, it came out yesterday. I had no idea. You would expect to like be just beat over the head with Creed trailers because, Creed was so good. And then Creed 2 was also very, very good.
Yeah, you would have thought you would have seen one during the Super Bowl or something.
And I knew that Creed was going to happen because Jonathan Majors, who is Kang in Quantumania, Jonathan Majors plays the antagonist or whatever in Creed 3. That's about all I know about it. But it's $60 million. That's great haul. You can't tell me people are not wanting to go to the movies. You can't tell me that. Because there's $60 million opening weekend right there for a movie that had zero footprint of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. Okay, So that's pretty much all I have to say about that, I think. I'm gonna have to Deke. I didn't tell you about this. I didn't complain about my weekend this morning at the beginning of the
Okay.
show. I should
All
have,
right.
but I didn't.
Let's complain about it now.
Yeah, let me complain about it right now because I got like 3 minutes, and it's this. I was driving my car, taking my kids to a petting zoo. My
Yeah.
wife had found a petting zoo, so we took our kids to the petting zoo. We're gonna go pet llamas and pigs and goats and bunnies and
That's really cool.
more goats, a lot of goats. And my wife and I were having a little bit of a fight. We're having a little bit of a fight while we're driving. I wasn't feeling too good, and whatever. We were just arguing, and then I'm like, I'm driving along, and I'm like, oh, something's wrong. And she says, I know something's wrong. What is wrong? What's the matter? And I was like, no, something's wrong with the car. And my car, all of a sudden, we're like 10 miles from the house. Car totally loses power and starts driving at like 20 miles an hour. Apparently, one of my cylinders in my car is not firing. So,
Yikers.
yeah, and I immediately am like, oh my god, I don't want to blow a freaking rod or whatever. I don't know. I've had it tear an engine up before, and I really don't want to do that. So I limp the car home after the petting zoo. Bear in mind, I still spent 2 hours at the petting zoo. Limp the car home, and I'm like, maybe it's spark plugs. I change all the spark plugs. It still doesn't work right. So this morning, I'm taking my car to Mazda, and I'm gonna just pray that whatever it is something that isn't going to cost me thousands of dollars to get fixed.
I thought you were setting up a dad joke this whole time.
There's no dad joke. This sucks. I'm stressed out.
Yeah, we'll give you a dad tip. All you people out there, we're giving you a dad tip right now. Change your oil every you don't have to every 3,000 miles anymore. That was something from oil's made differently now. They recommend 3,000. 3,000's good. 5,000 is okay. Well, for most cars, all right? For most cars. Ask any mechanic, they'll tell you that. Okay, so change your oil regularly. That is the lifeblood of your car. If you do that, your car will run. If you just do regularly change your oil and regularly change some of the other, just get it checked up every once in a while, you will have stuff that happens, and you will maybe have to change a fan belt or a hose or something every once in a while. Or I had to go to a junkyard the other day and get a new connector for my wife's battery or for her light. We were trying to plug in the light, and I took the light out and I looked at it, was all fried out. And that's why the light bulb didn't work, because it was completely fried out. So I had to go to the junkyard. They had a Mazda. I went, I cut it. We took it back. We put it on, and it works fine. So you can fix stuff very easily. But what I was getting at with that knocking, if you hear a knocking in the engine in your car, take it somewhere immediately. Don't think it's going to stop, or don't think that you just need this. That is something bad in the engine. And if you continue to let it knock, you're not going to have an engine anymore. All right. That's just fact. All right. I just put an engine in my wife's little Matrix. Just put one in there. We just got back like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And you guys were having to like deal with one car for like, it's been months, dude. It's been months.
But she loves that freaking, it's an 03 Matrix.
Yeah.
She loves that car. And I watch a channel on YouTube. This guy has a mechanics channel, and his wife has an 03 Matrix. And he says he works on this 03 Matrix all the time. And he says, this is he said, I'm a mechanic, and this is one of the best built cars ever made that I've ever seen. He's like, this is why my wife loves it, and she's still driving it after 20 years. Ashley loves this freaking car. It's a little hatchback thing. She loves this freaking car. That last engine had 370 something thousand miles on it, dude.
Our other car just like this week rolled over to 200,000 miles. We have a Kia Optima from 2012. It wasn't the first, but it was like the first year where they started doing this new body frame, and it's a hybrid. So like nobody has one of these things. It's like a hybrid thing, and we've taken it in before, and we got a service, and people are like, I can't believe you have this many miles on on this car, and it runs great. It runs great. So I normally do.
I had a. That's just. I've only owned like 5 cars since I've been 16. Since I was 16, I had I had a Nissan Sentra, a '99 Nissan Sentra. I bought. It wasn't brand new, but I bought it. It had like 6,000 miles on it or something. And I drove it for 13 or 14 years. I mean, it was at 13 years, 14 years. I was still getting like 41 miles a gallon, I think.
Oh, wow.
And I traded that down for like a little SUV Santa Fe type thing, and that got 18 miles a gallon. And I cussed myself. I cussed myself. I was like, I'm so stupid.
I should have just crammed you kids in that little car.
I just wanted something new. I'd been driving the same car for 13 years, and I just wanted something new, and I could afford it.
You know, that is, you can feel that. You can feel it when it's happening. It's like, I just want like a new car, and you imagine it and you dream it and you just kind of imagine how nice it would be or whatever. That is temptation. That is the devil's butt, just like luring you in to spend money you don't have on something you don't need. Yeah, new car thing is the worst. You start thinking like, oh, this car's not working anymore. We'll have to get another car. And you start dreaming about getting a replacement car. You are seducing yourself every time it happens. All right, so I gotta get going. You gotta get going.
I want to tell you real quick what I did over the weekend. You said what you did over the weekend. We didn't do much. I mean, me and the kids went out. And we went to McDonald's. I ate a kids meal at McDonald's. Parents were pissed. Pissed. I ate a kids meal. The parents were pissed. That's my dad.
That's good.
That's my dad joke.
That's good. You know, that's pretty good, Deacon. I don't really have a joke that good. There's this. You cannot trust a ladder. You cannot trust a ladder because it will always let you down.